A sealed room, 4 geniuses. Every minute, they have to solve another puzzle, answer wrong or answer too slowly, and the 4 walls keep closing in. No phones, no exit, and none of them knows that the real mastermind behind this deadly game is sitting right there among them. Before the story begins, we need to look at a famous math problem. In 1742, a mathematician named Goldbach proposed a conjecture. Every even number greater than 2 can be written as the sum of 2 prime numbers. For example, 18 can be written as 7 plus 11, 24 can be written as 5 plus 19. The rule sounds simple, but here's the problem. Goldbach proposed it, but he could never prove it. Over the next few hundred years, countless mathematicians tried to crack this problem, but no one could find a complete proof that worked for every even number. That is why this conjecture became one of the most famous unsolved problems in the history of mathematics. Every mathematician dreamed of being the one to finally prove it, and a young mathematician named Galois was one of the people who came closest to the answer. After years of calculations, he finally claimed that he had proved Goldbach's conjecture, and in 20 days, he planned to reveal his research to the world. But at the most critical moment, his dorm room is suddenly broken into. All of his proof papers are stolen, and his computer is badly destroyed. The work he spent years building almost vanishes overnight. Even if he tries to rebuild the proof from memory, it would take him at least several more years. 4 months later, an older mathematician receives a letter from someone calling himself Fermat. In the letter, Fermat says that if he can solve a puzzle, he will be invited to a weekend gathering. The guests are all brilliant minds from different fields, and the center of the gathering is a problem that has never been publicly revealed. The test in the letter is a sequence of numbers. All the old mathematician has to do is figure out the rule behind the order. For him, the puzzle isn't that difficult. He soon realizes the numbers are arranged by the first letters of their written names. 4 people pass the test, and all 4 receive Fermat's invitation. But the rules for this gathering are strangely specific. Fermat doesn't allow them to bring their phones. He even requires them to use false names during the gathering. As the old mathematician drives toward the meeting place, his car breaks down halfway there, so he has no choice but to hitch a ride on the side of the road. And the person who stops for him turns out to be Galois. Even more strangely, this young mathematician has also received Fermat's invitation. The other 2 participants are an inventor and a female logician. Before long, the 4 of them meet by the river. They board a small boat called the Pythagoras and prepare to cross to the other side. On the way, the old mathematician brings up a classic logic puzzle. A shepherd needs to cross a river by boat. With him, he has a sheep, a wolf, and a cabbage. But the boat can only carry a limited load each time. If the wolf is left alone with the sheep, the wolf will eat the sheep. If the sheep is left alone with the cabbage, the sheep will eat the cabbage. So how should the shepherd arrange the crossings to bring all 3 safely to the other side? The inventor finds the puzzle boring. Before anyone else can answer, he cuts the conversation off. As the sky slowly darkens, the 4 of them finally reach the other side. There, they find a car already waiting by the riverbank. Inside the car, the GPS route has already been set. It looks like Fermat arranged everything in advance. No one thinks too much of it. They get in the car and drive toward the meeting place. It's an abandoned warehouse. Rust covers the outside, and inside, it looks like no one has used the place for years. The 4 of them follow the passage deeper in. But once they reach the intersection, they realize something is completely different. An expensive piano, comfortable sofas, elegant decorations. The inside looks nothing like the rundown warehouse outside. They wait for about 10 minutes. Then an old man calling himself Fermat finally appears. He apologizes for being late. After that, everyone sits around the dining table and enjoys a lavish dinner. When dinner is over, Fermat is just about to introduce the so-called unsolved problem that has never been seen before. But right then, he receives a call from the hospital. Maybe the signal is bad here. The voice on the phone keeps cutting in and out, and Fermat can't clearly hear what the other person is saying. Fermat worries something may have happened to his daughter, who is still unconscious in the hospital. So he tells the others to keep discussing without him. Once he deals with the hospital situation, he'll come back. Then Fermat leaves in a hurry. The inventor notices that Fermat left his coat in the living room, so he runs after him, but Fermat has already gotten into the car and driven away from the warehouse. When the inventor returns to the room, he's moving so quickly that Fermat's wallet falls out of the coat. Inside the wallet, there's a photo of a young woman. From the look of it, she must be Fermat's daughter. The inventor stares at the photo for a long time, and slowly something changes in his face. It looks like fear, or maybe regret. After he comes back inside, Galois takes the wallet and checks it himself. From the driver's license, he learns that Fermat's real name is Roman. The group starts thinking back, trying to figure out whether any of them has seen this man before. Right then, a message alert suddenly rings out inside the room. The female logician picks up a phone beside the television. A puzzle has been sent to it. The message says there are 3 boxes on the table. One box contains only peppermint candies, one contains only anise candies, and one contains both kinds. But all 3 labels are wrong. They can only take 1 candy from one of the boxes, and from that single candy, they have to figure out what's really inside all 3 boxes. At the end of the message, there is one final warning. They have only 1 minute to answer. the countdown ends fast. That's when the inventor suddenly notices something. The four walls are moving toward the center of the room, but the others still haven't realized it. They're gathered around the blackboard, arguing intensely over the answer. Someone says they need to take 2 candies. Someone else says they need to take 3. The inventor walks over and gives the correct answer. They don't need to overthink it. All 3 labels are wrong. So the box labeled mixed definitely cannot contain mixed candies. They only need to take 1 candy from that box. Then they'll know what it really contains. If the candy is peppermint, then that box is the peppermint box. And because the other 2 labels are also wrong, the remaining boxes can only be switched into place. So they don't need to open all 3 boxes. Just 1 candy is enough to figure out the entire answer. The female logician immediately sends the answer, and the walls stop moving. But not long after, the phone receives a second message. This time, they have 1 minute to crack a code. The code is made up of 169 zeros and ones. The young mathematician stares at the sequence and suddenly thinks of a method. He pulls out a box of mahjong pieces and starts using them to break the code. At the same time, the old mathematician finds a shopping list. It shows that 2 months earlier, Fermat bought 4 hydraulic presses. The inventor immediately sees the problem. He understands how those machines work and what they're used for. He quickly figures out that behind each of the 4 walls, there must be a hydraulic press. Fermat connected the entire system to the tablet. Every puzzle comes with its own countdown, and if they fail to answer in time, the hydraulic presses will start automatically. Sure enough, when the countdown ends, the walls move toward the center again. Only now do they finally realize this is not an ordinary puzzle game. Fermat really is trying to kill them. But the question is, why would Fermat do this? The inventor's face suddenly changes. He finally realizes the others may have only been dragged into this. If Fermat is really taking revenge, then the real target may be him. It turns out, a few months earlier, on a rainy night, the inventor was driving drunk when he hit a young woman. He was terrified of being charged with drunk driving. So after calling the police, he fled the scene. Only the next day, after the alcohol had left his system, did he dare to go to the police station and report what happened. Later, he tried many times to apologize to the girl's family, but the police refused to let him contact them. As he says this, the inventor takes out the photo from Fermat's wallet. The girl in the picture is the same girl he hit that night, Roman's daughter. Right after the inventor finishes speaking, the young mathematician finally figures out the answer too. The code has 169 digits. That means it can be arranged into 13 rows and 13 columns. In other words, this isn't just a normal code, it's a hidden image. He places the zeros and ones in order, and soon, a skull pattern appears. They send back the word skull. Correct. The walls finally stop moving. Soon, the third puzzle arrives. This time, there are 3 switches controlling 1 light inside a room. They can only open the door and check the room once. Then they have to figure out which switch controls the light. The answer isn't about whether the light is on, it's about the temperature of the bulb. First, turn on the first switch. Wait for a while. Then turn it off. Next, turn on the second switch. Then open the door. If the light is on, the correct switch is the second one. If the light is off, but the bulb is warm, the correct switch is the first one. And if the light is off and the bulb is cold, then the correct switch is the third one. The female logician sends the answer, and the walls stop again, but the space they can move in is getting smaller and smaller. If this keeps going, even if they answer every puzzle correctly, their strength and their focus will eventually run out. They have to find a way to save themselves. During the brief moment of safety, the young mathematician starts asking the others if any of them has ever had a connection to Fermat. Everyone says no. The young mathematician can't make sense of it. If Fermat only wanted revenge for his daughter, he could have killed the inventor directly. There would be no need to build such an elaborate trap. And there would be even less reason to drag in people who had nothing to do with it. The fourth puzzle arrives right on time. 2 hourglasses. One measures 4 minutes. The other measures 7. The question asks them to measure exactly 9 minutes. The female logician's method is simple. Start both hourglasses at the same time, then keep flipping them to use the time gap created between the two. That gap gives them the final 2 minutes they need. 7 minutes plus 2 more minutes makes exactly 9. The answer is sent. But almost immediately, another puzzle arrives. The female logician enters the answer into the phone first. All she has to do is wait for the countdown to end and hit send. Meanwhile, the young mathematician leads the others in trying to save themselves. They wedge the bookshelf and the table across the room at an angle, trying to hold back the closing walls. Because behind all 4 walls, hydraulic presses are pushing inward. No human body can hold that back. So they take a gamble. If the furniture gets jammed in the middle, maybe the force from the walls can push against itself. But the moment the countdown ends, the walls start moving again. The bookshelf quickly begins to bend. The wooden boards start cracking. This plan won't hold for long. They have to send the answer now. But then comes the worst possible problem. The phone is gone. Everyone immediately starts searching through the chaos. Right then, the young mathematician unexpectedly finds Fermat's invitation letter. It says that Fermat was asked to arrive at the warehouse at 10 o'clock that night, and he was specifically told to bring his phone. That means there weren't only 4 people invited to this gathering. Fermat was one of the invitees too. In other words, all of them had been set up. the real mastermind deliberately arranged for Fermat to arrive late, then made sure he showed up with the phone. The goal was to make everyone else believe that Fermat was the one running the game. In the chaos, they finally find the phone. The moment the answer is sent, the walls stop moving. Then the scene cuts to Fermat. When he arrives at the hospital, he discovers that his daughter's condition is completely stable. Every reading is normal, and the hospital never called him at all. Realizing he came all this way for nothing, Fermat decides to return to the warehouse to get back his coat and his wallet. Meanwhile, inside the sealed room, the four of them keep trying to figure out who the real mastermind is. The female logician starts to suspect that the mastermind may be the same person who stole the young mathematician's Goldbach conjecture materials. After hearing this, the old mathematician looks confused. He asks her how she knew those materials were stolen from his university dorm. That one question reveals another layer of the relationship between the three of them. It turns out the young mathematician and the female logician used to be a couple. Later, while playing chess online, the female logician met someone she could really talk to. The two of them met in person and ended up sleeping together. When the young mathematician found out that she had cheated on him, he broke up with her. And the most awkward part is this: the man she cheated with was the old mathematician. The atmosphere instantly turns tense. In a burst of anger, the young mathematician smashes the phone. Then he threatens to let the female logician and the old mathematician die together. That strange reaction makes the inventor start suspecting him. Maybe the young mathematician had already discovered their relationship. Maybe he designed this entire trap to take revenge on both of them. But that theory quickly falls apart, because the person who called Fermat is the real mastermind. At the time, the young mathematician, the female logician, and the inventor were all inside the room. Only the old mathematician wasn't there, which means he was the only one who had the chance to make that call. Now that things have gone this far, the old mathematician stops pretending. He takes a stack of papers from his folder. They are his own handwritten proof of Goldbach's conjecture. He spent 35 years on it, and he was only a few small steps away from completing the proof. But then, he saw in the newspaper that the young mathematician was about to publish his result first. Decades of work were about to be taken away by someone much younger, and he simply couldn't accept it. Later, he saw another news report. The young mathematician's manuscript had been destroyed. The old mathematician knew very well that even if the young man needed years to reconstruct the proof, history would still remember his name in the end. Unless the young mathematician never got the chance to prove it again. Only then would the old mathematician have a chance to become the one remembered. So he deliberately got close to the female logician. Then step by step, he designed this entire scheme. His real goal was to lure the young mathematician into the trap. As for why he dragged the inventor and Fermat into it too, it was because the inventor had injured Roman's daughter in a car accident. And that accident became the perfect tool to frame Fermat. As long as everyone inside the sealed room dies, the police will have an easy story to believe. Fermat designed the trap to avenge his daughter and kill the inventor. The others were just people he dragged into the trap along the way. The female logician asks the question everyone is thinking. Fermat isn't stupid. If the police suspect him afterward, he will defend himself. But the old mathematician stays completely calm. Then he says Fermat is already dead. It turns out, after dinner, the old mathematician didn't just pose as someone from the hospital and make that call. Before Fermat left, he also planted a poison gas device inside Fermat's seatbelt. Once that gas is inhaled, it causes suffocation in less than 2 minutes, and it leaves almost no trace. The inventor tries calling Fermat, but surprisingly, Fermat survives for the moment because he normally doesn't wear a seatbelt. Unfortunately, on his way back to the warehouse, he drives too fast and gets pulled over by a traffic cop. The officer tells him to drive back to the warehouse and get his license. With a police officer in the car, Fermat doesn't dare answer the phone. And then comes the fatal detail. The officer orders him to put on his seatbelt. The moment the buckle clicks, the poison gas is released. Fermat loses control, and both he and the car plunge off the cliff. The call never goes through, and the last bit of hope is completely destroyed. Even if they call the police now, there's no way help can arrive in time. Then the young mathematician reveals a shocking secret. He never proved Goldbach's conjecture at all. He only claimed he did to get the female logician's attention. But the lie kept growing. The media kept asking questions. Everyone was waiting for him to present the proof, and the young mathematician had no idea how to get himself out of it. So he came up with a plan. He staged the break-in at his own dorm, the stolen manuscript, the destroyed computer. All of it was done by him. No one ever broke into his room. The more the young mathematician talks, the angrier he gets. In his mind, all he did was tell one lie. But because of that lie, the old mathematician is now trying to kill everyone. Then he punches the old mathematician and knocks him out. The walls keep closing in. The space gets smaller and smaller. But the three people left start to calm down instead. They believe the old mathematician must have left himself a way out. There's no way he would actually trap himself in here to die with them. They look around the room, then they start smashing the blackboard. And sure enough, behind it is a hidden passage. The scene cuts. The three of them are already on the boat, heading back across the river. In the young mathematician's hands is the manuscript they brought out of the sealed room. Now he's trapped in a different kind of dilemma. If he publishes it under the old mathematician's name, he can't bring himself to do it. But if he publishes it under his own name, then he's stealing work that doesn't belong to him. Just as he hesitates, the inventor takes the manuscript right out of his hands and throws it into the river. And that is where the movie ends. After watching the ending, a lot of people may have the same question. Why would the old mathematician leave an escape route inside the room? Wouldn't it be easy for the other three to overpower him? Doesn't that exit feel a little too convenient? But actually, the passage behind the blackboard is part of a mechanism. The three of them only find it after smashing through the blackboard, and the passage works almost like an elevator. Only one person can use it at a time. If everything had gone according to the old mathematician's plan, he could have waited until the others were completely unprepared. Then, he would trigger the mechanism, drop into the passage, and escape alone. Once he safely reached the lower floor, he could destroy the mechanism behind him. That way, everyone left inside the room would still be trapped and crushed to death. As for Fermat's wallet and coat, why did they just happen to be left inside the room? That really is a coincidence. But it doesn't necessarily make it a plot hole. A lot of the time, life itself is built out of coincidences. If everything followed perfect logic, then human emotion, impulse, and mistakes would become the biggest variables of all. For fans of mystery stories, the movie actually gives a clue right at the beginning. The river crossing puzzle the old mathematician tells is not just a random story. The shepherd crosses the river with a wolf, a sheep, and a cabbage. And that actually mirrors the relationship between the four people. The shepherd is the old mathematician. He is the one guiding this entire game. When he tells that story, he isn't just showing off his intelligence. It feels more like he's bragging in advance. A group of brilliant scholars, a young genius who claims to have proved Goldbach's conjecture. And in the end, all of them are being led by him step by step into a trap he designed. For the old mathematician, the satisfaction of doing this may even be greater than actually proving the mathematical conjecture.